Super friends.
All right, gang, we are back and we are talking about this concept of I'm working out, eating good, but my body's not changing or I'm not losing the weight or the fat that I want. So just to give you a little bit of like an overview, we're gonna go over some possible reasons why that is. And then we'll kind of conclude with what we recommend or some best practices here. So, Abs, you want to kick us off, or some possible reasons why my body's not changing, or I'm losing weight and I'm working out and it's been a couple months?
Sure. What we were just talking about prior to shooting here, we eat great during the week and then kind of unravel on the weekend. So that's just one thing of like being very consistent during the week. I plan my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then on the weekends, definitely like to enjoy, not doing it all the weekends, every single weekend, all day, every day on a Saturday or Sunday, but being able to enjoy when we want to enjoy, but not completely going off rails on the weekend. So that could be one of the reasons why we're not really seeing the results that we want to, because we're not staying as consistent as possible.
I'm gonna double down on what Abby just said about the weekends. Not necessarily about food, but say you spend the entire week like really committed to all your nutrition, your fitness, maybe getting to sleep at a decent hour, and then as soon as Friday rolls around, you're done working out here, maybe you go out, do something fun with the friends on Friday night. Now you're up till 2 in the morning and you don't get your sleep in. So now you wake up at noon the next day and that sleep schedule is just out the window. And then from there, maybe the eating goes a little bit differently than how you do throughout the week. And maybe you're sitting around a little bit more as well. So the weekend, just kind of all those things like nutrition, sleep, and just movement are just a little bit less than on your like normal 5-day weekdays. So that can be a reason as well.
I saw this cool statistic, or somebody shared a picture on Instagram where it was like if you only did the things you're supposed to do, like nutrition-wise, during the week and then skip the weekends, you're on the mark 71% of the time. What kind of grade does that sound like? It's like, I think it's like a C average, right? So to kind of harp on what these guys said, it's like, hey, like losing the consistency over the weekend, but if you do want to, relax a little bit over the weekends, like what are some things we can prioritize, where it's like, hey, making sure we're getting in adequate protein, making sure we're hitting the mark, getting as close as we can to 7 to 9 hours of sleep over the weekend, because the weekend should be a time where you unwind, you relax, you disconnect from the stresses of the week. Sean is really good at that, where hey, like Saturday and Sunday is you time, recovery time, like I need to prioritize me, but staying more diligent over the weekends and okay, like what are the things I can continue to move the needle on to push myself towards my goals, because we're working out during the week, we're eating good during the week, but how do we stay on top of it over the course of the weekend?
Yeah, I'll action pack some, and then I know you guys got a bunch more we'll kind of unfold as well. So if I shift it to the training conversation, let's go there versus nutrition. I'm inconsistent with training, or I'm not challenging myself enough with the loads that would provide a actual change in my body. That could come in the midst of like, if I lift heavy, I'm gonna get bulky. And that's a common thing that I think females have encountered in maybe their journey. Or just the fear of weights and getting hurt and kind of developing the self-trust to, I can lift heavy for me, and that will provide the physical stimulus and response for the body to then promote change. So that's the training one. A couple nutrition ones, I know you have this one too, Abs. Under eating, it's very easy to undereat, and your body can kind of go into this like fat storing mode because it doesn't know when it's going to get its next meal. I wrote here, this is a common one, those who eat well, eating too much of good food, and this could come in the forms of like oils. We've talked about this a lot, where I'm not tracking or just throwing the avocado oil or olive oil in the pan, and there's 2 servings there that I'm not accounting for, or on top of a food itself. Not hitting enough protein. So a gold standard is like trying to hit your body weight in grams of protein. That should be, if you exercise regularly 3 to 5 times a week, that should be a gold standard for a lot of us. I know that can be difficult, especially if you're pretty far off that and inconsistent with that. I wrote here, no gauge of how much, you just go by feel. So we don't know what we're putting in and how much, we just let our emotions dictate when we want to eat, how much we want to eat, and that could really just send you many different directions, and it's not going to provide a consistent result in your frame, which is important to a lot of people. I wrote inconsistent with quantity and or quality. So quality foods help obviously lean and health and all the body's processes, and then the quantity of food is going to dictate energy expenditure, how much is stored, how much is lost, things of that nature. But my favorite one, and Nolan and I were talking about this again before we started filming, people's perception of what's good. So we meet a lot of people here in almost a consultation process, and when we ask about, hey, what does your nutrition look like? 9 out of 10 times people will say, my nutrition's good. And then when you learn what an individual's perception of good is that really good? Whether that's under eating, or when we unpack that a little bit more, maybe it's not as good as we actually thought, or we're not doing the steps and the things that we need to do consistently to aid getting to the physical body that we have in our mind, or the results that we want to achieve within that, because we're giving ourselves, whether that's grace, whether we're uneducated, whether we eat 1 or 2 good things and then the other half a dozen or dozen things aren't so good. We see the good thing and we think that's we're on the right track. So those were mine. I just want to kind of unpack them rapid fire. So anything you guys want to add to those, pack on those or share?
I wrote pretty much almost the same thing that that you had said, and not eating enough is something that I've done. Completely slows down metabolism, and it's something that I work with a lot of ladies. We're wired in our brain to thinking that under eating means weighing less, and not maybe having the body that we want. Is I'm going to cut calories, I'm going to not eat this, I'm going to not eat that, and cutting too many things out versus what can we add things into our body to start to increase our metabolism.
I just want to piggyback on that real quick. Most people are in metabolic dysfunction. So Abby, you shared they're not eating enough. So if you don't wake up hungry, or if you're not hungry within the first few hours of waking, your metabolism is not working properly. And then if you eat a meal and then within a few hours, say 3 to 4 hours, you're not hungry again, it's not working properly. So a lot of people are actually dysfunction there. So there's a rewiring process that needs to happen. A lot of people skip breakfast, which is the beginning process. And I'm not talking about cereal. I'm not talking about, these muffins or bagels, like these crap foods that just put you into an insulin spike. I'm talking into things that actually promote what we're all looking for is, I want to be lean, I want to have muscle tissue that provides a body of strength and prowess that I feel good about. I would imagine we're all in some wavelength, just differing degrees of that. And that starts with eating a meal somewhere within the morning before we carry on with the day. And I think a lot of people skip that. They wake up, they get right to their activity. So I just wanted to harp on that the dysfunction there.
You said something earlier about not being educated and not knowing what to eat. And doing what we do in this nutrition coaching aspect of our coaching umbrella, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, being embarrassed to come forward and say, I didn't even know what the difference between a good carb is and a bad carb is. I just kind of put them all together as bad carbs. Or cereal is a great way of starting my breakfast. Not knocking cereal, but we could have better options, to start the day with, to get the metabolism going and to get the nutrients in. So almost like relearning all the things, or unlearning the things that we've had all these years of, and then relearning better habits. And then one thing is with the fitness aspect is having no recovery days, actually adding in more exercise. Like, oh man, I'm not seeing this, I need to add more cardio. I'm not seeing this, I need to work out 3 times in a day. I don't need this, I can't take a day off, because if I take a day off, then all my results are gonna go out the window. And what happens is that if we're not complementing that with the amount of calories that we should, our body is actually going after muscle, and we're just not recovering the way we should, and that could be another thing. So that was on my mind. That was my last one there.
You can't now train a bad diet. That all said. Kind of harp on what Abby said. Like, these guys have layered in a lot of great things. I see even more here. Like Abby had written on her sheet here. Like, are we adding extra calories in like in oils, dips, dressings, and that? Like the list goes on and on. What I found really helpful for myself and with like athletes that I work with is kind of what Abby said here with the recovery. Like outside of fitness and the nutrition. Like, are we prioritizing things outside of those two? Are we giving them the focus that they need? Or are we just focusing on, I'm going to work out 9 days a week and twice a day and cut calories? Or am I eating a well-balanced diet, working out 3 to 5 days a week? That's where most people have found success, is in that balance. But also, am I controlling my stress in the way that I need to? Am I up to my eyeballs in stress and anxiety through work? Am I burning the oil too much at both ends? Like we just talked to a guy this morning who, his schedule is very sporadic, and he finds the last second where he needs to be, and it's like it just creates chaos in his schedule. He can't line up his eating the way that he needs to. There's so many things outside of the gym that you can take control of that will set you up for much more success, not only in your performance, but in how you feel, how you look, how you fit in your clothes, like all those things. And it's just, it's not just strictly on food, but that's kind of the topic we're talking about here. But it's taking a look behind the curtain on those other things as well.
Would you guys agree? Because I feel like if I say this,
spit it out.
To truly transform our bodies, it takes the meticulous, day-to-day, consistent effort of the discipline of the small, little habits, repeated effort of consistency in eating the right things. Not saying don't be a human being and enjoy a piece of pizza every once in a while, or your kid's cake on your kid's birthday. Well, not saying that. But the day-to-day habits of consuming the right things and having an idea, being educated and doing those things, that's what's very difficult for people. And I think when we get to that aspect in that place and it's second nature, it's habitual, that's when we're on the path, and we just do that for a long, extended period of time because results don't come overnight. Would you guys agree, or what do you have to say on that?
I absolutely agree, because what's cool is that we get mentored by somebody too, and she said something that had stuck to me about we're too focused on about taking things out of our diet and not paying attention to what we can add in. Because I would say that a majority of us like to maybe enjoy a glass of wine with dinner every once in a while, or again have the dessert or celebrate, or there's like a ginger ale or something, I don't know, something like that's a little treat every once in a while. But it's training ourselves to have that like 80-20% where we have to really focus on like being as consistent as possible and allowing those to come in once in a while versus like not having those every single day. And yes, it is hard work and it takes time, and it's not a straight line, but it's focusing on what we can add in versus like what can we like take out. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, the big word that comes to mind is discipline. Where it's the discipline each day to do the things that when Sean does like a lot of work behind the scenes that we can't see, and Sean says it's like, do I necessarily enjoy this? No, but it's a discipline to do it because it paints this bigger picture and creates this thing that we have. And it's no different with your body. It's the discipline to do the things every day that you need to create the thing that you want. I'm sure if you think on something in your life that took a long time to create or build, like it didn't happen like that. It was either like years of school or being disciplined in your work or whatever it is, right? It's no different with your body and things like that. And then also, like a lot of the things Abby just said, the things that we partake in, like the glasses of wine at night, or for me, it's a diet soda over the weekend. Like I have a Diet Coke over the weekend with my girlfriend. Like it's like our treat thing, right? But it's one little short-term satisfaction or nugget, and then it's okay, we're right back on the path, and it's not allowing that to spiral into all these short-term gratifications that take away from the bigger picture.
That is really well said.
Yeah, that's so great of you to share too. Like I'm a human, I'm a fit human, I'm a healthy human. I'm disciplined 99% of the time, and yes, there's this one thing I look forward to with my significant other, and it happens to be this. And I think that's great. I think it's great to share.